All right. Hold on. All right. What's good, everybody? I'm not sure if anyone can hear me, but I will do a sound test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. The best bet to know if the mic's working. I check my other end. I'm gonna just do a little test. Let me check. See if anybody can hear me. See if anybody can hear me. All right, good. My mic's working. Perfect. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna turn it down a bit. Get it close to me. All right. Look like everything's all set, people. So let me just plug in one more device and then we'll get started. And I hope I have no echo. I doubt I will have no echo today. All right. Perfect. I'm all set. Before we start, let me go to a little brief commercial. Let me find her website. First website I will share is by my good friend Oasis King. Let me see if I can get to her Facebook. Mm. I have to go to her website before Okay, I found her. Oh, sorry, guys. Hmm. Okay, find it. I'm just gonna go down. Be patient, people. Oh, and one other thing, since people are gonna listen to this, be always you come into the stream, make sure you comment during and after every video. Subscribe. You know, there's 3 notification bells. I would like to ask kind to notify or pick the top bell. That will let you know when I go live or upload much more effectively throughout my channel. And like always, as you listening in, you could like the stream as the podcast is being played now, and also you could like the stream and podcast at the end of this session. So, if you could do that, I appreciate that. Thanks. All right. As I try to find Copper House. Okay, I think I found it. So let me share my screen. Wait, what's this? Oh. I'm sorry, guys. I click onto the wrong one. My apologies. Oh, hello, Mello. How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I found it. So let me show y'all this. And make sure I sound clear. Okay, so look like Chrome's acting up. This is not a good sign, but we're gonna try to on. Let's check. All right, guys, I'm sorry about that. I'll probably will not share and talk about it because it looks like there's technical issues on this, StreamYards, and looks like they can't function with the Google Chrome. So, nonetheless, we will go on to the topic at hand. As you know, the title, as it's given, hold on. As you can see, the title for the stream is titled Black Men and His Inner Fear of the Eurocentric Man, or AKA we call it the Caucasoid, the Caucasian white man. And to really come about this subject or this title, like always, I come to revelations or what is revealed to me about the black male psyche, thought, actions here in the 21st century. And I'm not sure if I ever said this or even expound on this, but I have to conclude, and this is my point of view now. I might get pushback, but it comes with the territory. That a lot of black males, especially here in the West, we call America, and we could probably say abroad too, fear these competing group of men, these non-black men from the Asian to the potentially the Indian, which is subhuman group within the European family, and this Eurocentric man himself, the white man. And it's sad for me to say this. Yeah, I see you. I see you. That's good. And I'm not sure I'm gonna share the link for people to give more pushback or whatever. Is a lot of men today, especially outside of America. Now we already know the history of most other foreign people, black males, black females, that come to America. Now they come here for either again a better opportunity or just want to take the money resource here in America, which is most dollar bill, and eventually choose to go back to their homeland or they stay here. And I can't put my finger in all this with the behavior and the mindset of just the men here in this Western region we call North America. And I know that a lot of women have been creating streams, hell, even podcasts, talking about the issues within this community in regards to the black males or the black men. And I always give some sense of pushback to this, to a degree. I'm not saying they have no argument in regards to their views of their own men, which is kind of surprising because they come out your coochie, but that's another story. But in regards to the mindset, which leads to the action of a lot of black males, there is a sense of a bigger fear that I'm not sure if this is really genetically now. And we could probably say it could be genetically now because this fear has been eroding and keeps surfacing and it keeps growing when every generation of the black males being birthed here in the West of America and globally. That as as men, we don't have the propensity to redo what we should be doing like other groups of men. And what I mean by is, are we as men competing on a high level? Are we making that sound decision to say maybe we need to stop working for other groups of men and have to establish something that's our own, something that is self-sufficient, that not only we have some place, but also we could self-suffice and help employ our own men, and we could say our women too. We have not come to this conclusion and this action as a group of men, especially in America. Besides outside America, probably some other men within our race is probably do some things a little better. And I said some things a little better, but the same game applies that no matter where you see us men, the black men across the world, you see us in a certain lower status while the other group men are in that upper echelon or top over the black men. And it's funny talking about this. I know even with many conversations that I take part in, and and I sometimes hear some frustrations in some men. I say some frustration, but overall, the average black male today does not feel he should really say, "I'm going to take a more serious position and want to be in a more dominant power position globally." Or I just want to start where I'm at and want to see us as a group of men to say we are going to be on top. We are not going to be in a Caesarean role moving forward in the 21st century. And it's not going to better suit us moving forward in the 21st century, the way how things are really structured now. With the introduction now of more and more technology and more automation and all these things that could hurt and threaten some of human existence, not all, but just enough that there's going to come to a point in time where there's going to be required for less people and more on artificial machinery and computer AI and hell, even things that's going to be built structure less with human hands for the small things. Usually now we have technology to do all that for us. And we always got one of our, even as the black males here, the sense of purpose in the 21st century. That our future does look very glim, to the point said, how much blacks people are we going to see while this even going on further in the next 80 years? And why I say 80 years, because we're now in the first generation of the 21st century. Moving forward, going on to the end of this century, we are not sure the future, how we going, how is our image or how we going to look as people, how we are there going to be still heavily dark melanated people in the next 70, 80s, possibly. I remember one young woman I was listening to on another podcast, and she believes that by mixing, it will be better. Mix culture that we better. But really, truly, when I hear these conversations with women, not all, but just a few that I come across and listen to and I make conversate, they have no problem mixing in with other groups of people. Like it's very shameful, it's hateful to be what they are. And mind you, this is not just in America, but these women that I talk to that is not even descendants of the soil, what we call America. Some are from different parts of the world, from Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia, I mean, you can name it. Even the islands from Trinidad, Barbados, uh, Central America, uh, yeah, even Jamaica, and the list can go on and on. But the point is this: that even listen to her conversation, she her revelation feels that mixing will be better for the black population. So we're mixing cultures. And I'm saying the only culture that you see that people predicate, they get off black people on the average. Now there's some cultures that follow some old traditions that were probably theirs before the presence of black people intertwining. But most of every culture you see here in the West, they got from the minds and hearts from melanated people. So She believes that there's gonna be a mixed race and then there's no really color line. There's always gonna be color line, and I want people to get understand this clearly. The color line will never be erased. And the reason why I say it will never be erased because it was created by other groups of men. Most particularly Europeans create what we call racism, intelligence in regards to the IQ test. They create most of everything that separates themselves to the everybody else for the last 400 to 500 years since they start take more into prominence in history books going on in the 1500s. And if you think about it, one of the major things I find now with the black man today in the 21st century, the only thing he in his mind, and it's not growing numbers, but it slowly will start to grow when in time. Their only solution in regards to their issues, their oppression now in a so-called assimilated society is he takes on what we call escapism routes or to want to escape and run from the problem and hope to go and nest in other competing group men's territory, which is mostly not run solely by us. Don't get it twisted. You go in these other nations that said it's pure black people not really running shit. I'm telling you this right now. Anywhere you see the black and non-black dynamic, you see the black on the bottom and the non-black on top. That is not by coincidence. That is by structure, and that is by done by design. Well thought of design that was implemented and always re-engineered and restructured every couple decades. And how we could say close to half to almost a century. And when in time they redefine and tweak it the way how they want it because they control the minds of every person, women and men, especially the men today here. And the men have not really gotten and really figured out that the few answers that were here that fought for you to get to so-called to this position, you have still have not reached what we call the prominent land or reach anything in regards that got what for your own salvation and your self-preservation, especially in the West. And I'm very concerned now that, out of every other group of men, especially black men, this is the last soil or the last spot where you see the black men here in this soil we call West America have not taken a serious dereliction route where now said they're not even wasting time fighting at all. Hell, they're not even fighting for their own self-preservation amongst systems. Hell, they even complain about dealing with the women here in their country or in this country here because it shows the lack of actual leadership and power they do not possess and hold. I mean, really, really. And feels so that these other groups or competing group men are going to take it easy outside of America because you decide to escape. No, you have not seen nothing yet. Trust me on this, you have not seen nothing. The only thing that these other groups of men see when they see the original man that's been here for centuries in America, that's fought in many wars, and has changed the ties in history, not only America but globally. The only thing they could look at this creation that they call this Negro man, this American black man, is he could sit there and look at him and laugh right in his face. What's up? Laugh in his face. And sad thing with all this, sad thing, is that I don't see no hope right now And I'll say right now because I'm not sure what the future holds. But the last African, the pure or the where we call breaded man here in the soil, to show any semblance of fight left, if he's even doing any serious fighting at the end of the day. Because if he falls here, the everywhere else you see where there's a black presence, especially that's a male, will eventually fall much faster than what we seeing right now. Um, and it's funny because as much as I have my issues with the sisters here, I get to understand why now a little bit more. Nor is not their fault per se. They might play a part in certain things, and I say certain things, but it's not all the serious, serious fault of the serious downfall of the black men here in the West we call America. No, not by a long shot. Hell, look at all the laws being put in place. If we want to think about it, from things like the one drop rule, black people didn't create that. That was another community group of men create that. And why did they really create it? Because they create to separate ties to actual resource and errors passed down. Yeah. And it's funny, and women just said that. And I had to really sit back and think deeply. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'll just reiterate to y'all that this one drop rule is only utilized to separate the bastardization these same competing group men hate towards our women, to cut out certain actual passing out of any wealth. And there's a lot of wealth that can be passed down in this country. And the saddest thing about all this is either we come to grips and understanding this. The fact of the matter is that no matter how much we interact or procreate with these people or they procreate us, it will always show a shadow and separation of what is rightfully ours and the so-called balance of not only resource but people entirely. And we all know in the soil that they're not going to really just give up and create a balance for other race people, especially black people in this country per se. And black people have a long way to go to really continue to fight to get what is theirs. And I think there's not much fight now because even including the men that start off as boys and eventually become men, they still have not gotten it. And when I hear most of these men talk throughout podcasts and all streams YouTube, I had to really few questions that come to my mind. One of them is one, well, did you even grew up in structure that makes you have mother or father in your life that plays some role in your development? And two, are you originally a descendant of what we call slaves or ADOS here in America? And those are two questions that I might start focusing asking a lot of these dudes I come across. Like every time I hear their plights and their forecomings of not only life but with the opposite sex, those are two things that's going to come to my mind when I have to really see them or talk to them personally, or whatever case might be when they ask and throw these terms about why they cannot do certain things, why they can't act right, why they cannot go at certain systems that is a parasite to their lives. And you think about it, the few men that I know that deals with women on a daily basis, hell, even got children, they don't have these problems. No, no, they don't. But some dudes that either didn't get a pony in high school or wherever, and I left high school a long time ago, like everybody else that's listening to this, that I don't complain. To keep it real, what we did back in the past, you had to eventually leave alone and had to grow out of that to become the man, or hell, even woman you are today. And really, truly, a lot of black men that not being honest with themselves that they really fear this this European man. I hear it when they always talk about say why they cannot fight with theirs, fight for rights, all this stuff, because it makes them have to go confront that people man. Hell, our women are in somewhat scared of this man too, because look what they do with their sons. They call their sons to the point where they're not only useless to any other brother, but also to other women, where they can't even do or act or do what's necessary to conduct themselves as proper functioning beings, or even young boys growing into men. Any way you want to look at it or twist it, it's the same shit. And at the end, it does get frustrating, very frustrating. You think that you want to operate, let's say, as a woman in your natural nature, and eventually you want to practice what they call the hypergamy, that stuff. But no saying your male counterpart will not give you that or feel you're entitled because he is conditioned to feel that you're good and bad by yourself. And one other thing I want to say about this, these women said they don't need a man. My question asked to most dudes is, why are you messing with a woman and she's not only telling you, but in action, she really doesn't need you? That's the number one question I had to ask. Number one. And number two, as one, if you surely believe that, if you feel you don't need a man, okay. My question to you is, where you get your resource from? You don't get it from women, you get it from other groups of men. Hell, you had to go check and see this other competing group man, the European man, to force this male that you let inseminate you force. Imagine that. But we said we could do all bad by ourselves. We're a joke. We're a laughing stock, to be honest. We're stupid. So not only other groups of racial people, but just the world in general that looks at us as fools. Um, and to be honest with you, when even then with the solutions part of any discussion, and if I don't come up with enough solutions every time I do these podcasts and stuff, I'll apologize to a degree. But like I said, solutions are there if you're seeking it. It's not that hard as a adult or an intelligent being, especially if you're a man. And like all men, we should be solving our problems at the end of the day. And I think enough men, we're not solving enough problems to even fix the little problems we have amongst not only in our group but as a collective globally. You can't get you can't get what you want from your for certain groups of women. It tells me you gotta really have to improve and constantly self-improve to see what you want in a woman, and you have to stand firm on it. If you're a man and you all you're seeking when you deal with any woman and you're only seeking just to get into her pants, then obviously it'd be make better sense. You are upfront and honest. Or like the term from Mr. Curry said, you be Mo one. You be upfront and honest. If I can remember, that's what the pastor said in one of his many books. And stop with the nonsense and the foolishness. Come on, really. But I think most males say don't have the boss because they're not honest with themselves and honest what they really want. A lot of women, when they could see a lot of us males, they could tell a good enough of them that we don't know what we want as men. Now, I think the lack of confidence we have as men is shown not only through our words, but it's now showing through our actions. And it makes me want to say, I take a woman from outside of America or they're here in America, a foreign woman, whether she knows America or not, she could she could sense and feel your type of energy and know you one of them dudes that is a man that got his stuff in order and won't deal with any crap, or the ones that will sit there, you're just there for this to get validation and some, sex on the side. They could tell. Don't be stupid. And a lot of these dudes that are older than me, they're very dumb. Women's nature is not that hard. Women know when we how we act, and they could tell right off the bat. They could tell. And like Mr. Curry said, yeah, women are not stupid. You get me? They've been playing this game with a lot of you dudes that has not gotten picked when you were younger. And let's say you're making some money or doing decent or well for yourself, that you think that you're entitled to them. You're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. And always I hear this stupid nonsense about this feminist nonsense that was created by not only the European woman, but it was helped and facilitated by the same competing group of men that you don't really go at and deal with personally. Women only could do as much as they can or go as far as can without the help and assistance and validation of men. And the men that facilitates them, nurtures them, hell, even pays them, will keep furthering your oppression as a black man, not only here in the West, we call America, but globally. He got the world locked down right now. Hell, you don't see most of regular businesses right now are not functioning. Why? Because the world's controlled and locked down by him. The same competing group men, the same Eurocentric man that the black man fears on an everyday basis. And you can't sit there, look back in this podcast and tell me that I'm lying. And the problem with us, man, we're not being honest. You complain about the child support system, but you don't act where you go in that system and go in there as a winner and fight. Because they already know the consent and looking you dead in your eyes and smell the bitch in you. All right. Hell, even some of our women can smell a bitch and say us brothers when we're not willing to fight for even what is ours. And on the average, most women will tell you they don't want to deal with another bitch. One that got a coochie like them. It makes me wonder why they gravitate a lot to these dudes that are so-called hard or thug, because at least they show some elements of fighting something. They don't know what the hell they're fighting, but they're gonna fight for something, and usually something that's criminal. But at least at the end of the day, they fight for something. At least, whether we like it or not, and it's not something that they fight for rights. Usually, it could be something petty or something just to get by, or even just to hustle to get some money. But they could see the ones that is the doers and is willing not to put up with no crap and fight. And that's one thing I give some credit to a lot of these so-called low-level tuggy tugs. If you're a square or a dude that's not willing to get your hands a little dirty from time to time, or try to stand firm in what you say and believe, and don't back down to nothing, then hey, you have graduated into what we call manhood. But to sit there feels that you don't have to really do much, nothing, and you want the woman to do everything for you, and also you're still acting like a child. Unfortunately, brothers. As much time me as a man, I could sit there, continue listen to y'all with this and your complaints and come out because of feminism or anything that stop you to act and conduct yourself as a man. I can't go by that bull crap anymore. I'm sorry, I can't. I cannot do it. I dealt with it. I listened to it for over a year now, and I look at now. We move forward in a new decade. I still have not seen no growth from that mindset. And you think that you're doing something because you're not even put any inch of fight, but say, well, I'm just going to keep running. I'm going to retreat, 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 retreat. Cowards. And no wonder that some women call the average black man very dusty. Sad. It's very sad. And I expect that we should expect better from ourselves as men. We should not be always asking for less and always think that getting the scrappings or doing a little bit or not. We gotta expect more. We really got to. Hell, me and the great liberator, even Mary, he brings a sense of knowledge to you fools to tell you what reality what is. The same terminology and words you use are oxymorons. They have no relevance. Hell, some of them don't make no sense when most of y'all use these terminology and words. But I tell you, Mary will give you a better definition in a lot of words. Same thing with Cerulean. He could do that even better for y'all to re-educate y'all because I know the education system here is garbage. So, it dumbs down a lot of Negroes. Not only men, but also women, because a lot of us take on this so-called, what we call this de-educational system. That doesn't prepare you for nothing but be a better or more hyper consumer. Especially where there's not enough black business here. Or business that we at least control, just in case if we can't go to one establishment, we have some of our arts to go to for better security. I tell you, man, we have to do better. And I think one of the few things in being better or doing better as men, we have to really overcome these interferes, regardless you want to talk about it or not. And to be honest with you, you could tell that the black man fears this European man, aka white man, is when they can't really deal with the source and be honest, say, who's really the source. It's like almost like the boogeyman say out this person's or that person's name. You think he's gonna come out and get you. That's the most greatest fear any man has when he knows that you can't really say his name and tell the real source of your problems. Once you get to that point, he got you. And he knows you're not gonna take no action because you not even go about and say who's the real source of the problems of the community. Certain policies that put in place, certain laws, etc., that's continue to keep you systematically oppressed, economically stranglehold, so you can't come up. Anytime you'll talk about one of your own, you have to fight in regards to show validation that you are almost as top as him or one of the, I think, 2.5 or the fifth or the 1/3 or I would say the 5%, 4% of so-called men of money that's accumulated, one of the richest. You have to fight for that, and he just puts you there just to show to the other Negroes, say, "Hey, look, at least he can get there. You can do that too." Nah, bro. You're not getting more than a couple percent up there, and you can still live comfortably, parasite off the original man and woman, which is black man, black woman. It don't work like that. So, like I said, one of the few things that the black man's only going to come over this is he has to really tackle his interferers of this European man. Your mother's not going to teach us. Your mother's going to probably protect you more from this beast than anybody else. So if you come to understand and knowledge of who you really are, understand your culture, whether it's Western culture or etc., which you create at the end of the day, you have to come to grips and comfortable in the skin you're in to understand your position in the world and what you have to do to overcome this. And if you're not doing this, your children eventually will not get because you're gonna leave the same burden to them, for them to feel. And trust me, children are always gonna look back to the ones that said it did work, and said why you didn't do more, do better. Because we like to constantly be in a hamster wing as a group of people. Just keep spinning and spinning and not coming off the wheel. So, like I said, you have to tackle that inner fear you have as a man, and you have to confront why you're afraid of this compete group of men, especially Eurocentric men. Once you have deal with that, I think the sky is ceiling for a lot of black men globally, not only here in West we call America, but globally itself. But until then, you're going to continue to operate the way you are for the last 400 or 500 years. You're going to be put in your nesting and conquered by other groups of people. And eventually, women are going to feel it, and they're going to feel the suffering too. I don't think that the women, because they able to work, that they're okay and they're having it easy. Women have it just as bad or worse. Some of the women now don't want to work super hard to do more, and you as men could take more of the load and burden for them. I think one of the few things that we have to be understanding that you know women are only subjugated by other groups of men because real men, a real man just stand and watch other men take advantage of his woman. He's not really considered a man today. And like I said before, most of you dudes that fall under these so-called depository pills, colorful pills, you sit there and make the same excuse too. Matter of fact, you make more excuse than some of the women. You want to keep 100, and you're not gonna really do nothing at all. Hell, some of you already hanging the towel, and and make it. And I tell you this, it's even these dudes have kids with you, and these dudes already have this mindset. You could sense and smell the dereliction already in some of these dudes. The minute he knock you up, hell, you're lucky if you can get a ring on it. And they're gonna probably blame you, say you to choose better. But a lot of these dudes don't want to marry a lot of women. Regardless if they're here in America or outside America, they're not willing to do what's necessary to change the laws in here. So if you decide you have to go to another group of men to force this other man to really do what he should be doing, then you're screwed. You're screwed. And it comes with the territory then they in this very sick, twisted way we live in. And men are the ones that shape the world. But when it comes to us as black men today, we're not doing enough shaping. I think right now we're arguing and acting too much like women, and women are acting like men. And this is done by design at the end of the day. But usually, with any well thought out design, you have to crush that design to make your opponent restructure and recreate the design again. But if you're not making the attempt to really make him think what he's doing to you, to really have to re-strategize how he's gonna suck the blood out of you like a parasite, then all he gonna like all parasites, they could continue feeding and feeding until you're drained. So, like I said, overcome your fear, and like always, we will as black men will come back on top. But if you don't overcome your fear, you're just gonna get what you deserve. And like I said, we have a couple more decades to go. It's always good to see how many black people are going to be melanated rich, especially brownish or dark. Going to be only time will tell. Only time will tell. But like I said, we shall see. If anybody's there, if y'all want to jump up on here, let me know. If you want the link, I'll give you a few minutes. Another thing I like to say is that me and the Great Liberator are gonna be doing some good work in the coming months. And look out. He's gonna probably go in with many subjects, like always, as his co-host. Um, I'm probably gonna give support and my own perspective to a lot of topics that he creates and or what I create or what we do on his channel or podcast. So be on the lookout for that. Also, like I said, the next book after this one, American Negro Slave Revolts, I think I will delve into the future of the Black family, a book written by Julius Harris, and I think her and her husband, Mr. Harris, book that came out in the 80s. I think that will be the next book reading. And I might just add two different book readings and simulcast by different books and separate from apart every week. So I'm still deciding to do that. I'm still thinking should I should not do that. But we'll see. We'll see. So I'm gonna have some content, some good content, for educational purpose, because this is not just a channel that deals with, entertainment or discussions. It's supposed to mix up a little bit. So I don't wanna stay on one subject or just one focus. I like to mix up a little bit for not only the streams but also for the podcast. So be on the lookout for all that. But I think I said all I have to say. Um, Always, you can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7. And like always, leave a comment on every video that's done, including this one. I want to hear from you, your thoughts and opinions. Also, I would like to if y'all would like the video as well. So that could be pretty good. And let everybody know this is out here. And also, please subscribe to the channel, this podcast, um, and I think that's pretty much it. So thank y'all again for listening. And until next time, let's get us.